guys, so we're gonna do a little posing after a back workout here at Bev's Posing Room. We got the double mirrors here, which helps out a lot to be able to see your backside while you pose. As far as posing, there's no cut and dry right or wrong way to pose. You have to look at your body and angle and manipulate to make your structure, your muscularity, your pros and cons shine. So I like to have a little bit of angling. I'm in Classic Physique. I think it gives a classic look. I think classic posing all starts from the hips, the center, the core, and the weight shifts onto one side and the rest of the body flows. So I'll hit a few poses here, show you guys how I personally like to pose and what I think helps my body and why. All right, so my front double bicep, as you guys can see, I start basically on one leg. All the weight's on this hip, so it gives that classic contoured look. So I start with the hip. I put this foot down, planted firm, not too straight, not too much to the side. Too much to the side, you can't see the outer sweep. Too straight, it looks narrow. So you see everything. You see my outer sweep, you see the inner thigh thickness, so it gives the illusion of a bigger leg, and it's planted, and I can pivot. When I pivot, you see that? I'm pivoting right now, putting the pressure. Then this foot comes in, not too far out, not too far back, forward, and almost overlapping here. You don't want a gap. If there's gaps in anywhere in your physique, it makes you look hollow, makes you look small. I spike the toe and I put pressure, but I don't lock the knee. You see the difference here? The detail on the leg. You want to keep it slightly bent and press down. Pivot, press, right there, versus it's a big difference. As far as the upper body, when you hit the front double, if you can, there's two ways of hitting it. There's the abs, flex, or a vacuum, which I'm not really hitting too well because I got about a gallon of water in my stomach. Now, on my front double, instead of being right here parallel, arms parallel to the ground, I like to raise them up a little bit. If you raise them too much, you're going to lose a lot of lat width. You see how my lats span out? And they're wider here? So I'll bring it up a little above just to give a little shape, and then I'll throw my fists back and elbows forward, just a tad to make the lats pop. And that for me is my front double. Sitting on the hip, almost no weight on the leg, arms a little higher than normal, and get those lats pop as much as possible. With the side chest and side tricep, what guys do when you see them pull the leg back is they're pulling the right leg's hamstring against the left leg to push it out. Same as the bicep, you push it against your lat to make it look like it comes out further. That's really what they're doing. The toe spikes in the arc of the left foot, and you turn it this way. So that your lower body is turning away from the judges, away from the audience, and your upper body is turning towards them. That's what makes this pose very hard. And then you want to put the weight on this leg. So you see no weight on my leg, then you see weight on my leg. What happens? My quad fires, the split in my hamstring becomes alive, and my glute, you can see the striations in my glute. So that's the lower body. So you pull, spike, sit. Then the upper body, same thing. Pull against the lat, bring it right up to here. Now I'm pushing with my left arm against my left pec and pulling it over. So here I'm hiding the left pec and left arm, here left shoulder, and here I'm showing it. Much wider, much thicker, much bigger. And I'm talking to you guys, so I'm not flexing my abs, but when you hit the pose, abs as well. Especially for guys that pose a lot lower. You'll see a lot of guys pose their arms here. You don't want to sit there with your gut out. You want to show those obliques. I like a Kevin Levrone pose right here. I learned from him the early years. Real high, nice, shoulders almost parallel. I'm not like this. I don't really like pulling the arm out. Sit on it there, and that's the pose. And I'll always finish it off with a little tricep. Now we move on to back double bicep, which is one of my favorites and a very, very important pose because they say some shows are won from behind. So you want to show your back width, but you want to show detail as well. What happens with the back is if you get really wide and pull it forward to show the width, you lose detail in the middle. If you push it back together, you lose width. So, first thing I do, I spike one leg back. I use my right leg. It's a little further back than my left. I spike it, make sure to flex my calf, and then hamstrings and glutes. Okay? Everybody gets into their back double differently. I like to do this or this, and then go into the back double. Now, arms don't stop here, they come in towards my head, so I get full contraction of the bicep. Elbows a little bit forward to give me width, but arms not too forward. See, if I go really wide with my back, I lose detail. Very wide, but no detail. If I come in here, a little bit more back detail, and I still have the width. So for me, that's the balance in between that I like to do. And having these mirrors really helped a lot, because I'll hit the pose with my eyes closed where I think it should be, where I think I want it, and then I'll open my eyes and take a look. Because when you're on stage, you can't see how you look. So if you guys pose during your whole prep in front of a mirror, then when you get on stage, you're gonna be like, oh shit, am I doing it the way I was doing it at home? So having a double mirror really helps. You can set one up at home. You can buy like really cheap rectangle 5-6 foot mirrors at like Target or Walmart. So real quick, my back double goes like this. And that's it. And I hold the pose. So one big thing that I'm known for and I like to do is I hit the poses when the judges ask them and I hold them. So you'll see a lot of guys when they say front double, guys will stand there, they'll wiggle around, they'll take their sweet ass time, hit the pose last, pump the pose or move around. And I mean, look, the judges are judging you. Give them what they want. They asked you for the pose, hit the pose, don't move, don't shake, and hold it. So I always make sure I'm the first one to hit the pose and the last one to let it go. So most likely, I'm gonna get looked at first, maybe mid through, and probably last. Because if these guys are winding up and I'm already posing, everyone's gonna look at me. If they are letting go of the pose early, shaking or moving around, they're gonna look back at me. So that's one thing I think is very professional, important, and I personally take pride in. Another thing is the shaking. Where does the shaking in bodybuilding come from? It comes from flexing really hard. If you flex really hard, if you arm wrestle someone, your arms start shaking. If you did your work and you're conditioned, you don't really even need to flex that hard to show your muscle. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't flex on stage, but I see guys over flexing, over posing, thinking that they're gonna look 10 times bigger and leaner, and that's not the case. So hit your pose, hold it. This does not look good. The shaking makes you look terrible, and even if your physique is beautiful, that's what's gonna stand out, that's what's gonna shine. So when you're on stage, your work, your 3 months of prep, your diet, your physique speaks volumes, and that's what they're looking at. But your presentation is so important. The way you carry yourself on stage and your confidence is just as important as your physique. If you look like you belong and you look confident, it's gonna come across. If you look like you're doubting yourself and you're self-conscious and you're nervous, it's gonna come across. So keep that in mind, guys. If you don't practice posing, you will look bad on stage, you will shake, you will be uncomfortable and nervous, and you won't look like a professional. So don't let an amazing physique that you worked so hard to obtain over years and months of dieting be overlooked because your presentation is not good. Practice the posing. If you need to go buy a $20 mirror, buy it. If you need to videotape yourself, your routines go over and over again, do it. Do what it takes. And just play with your poses at home. Watch videos on YouTube, watch my video, subscribe, but educate yourself and play with your own body and see, you know what, if I do this that Arash did, it doesn't look so great. It looks better if I drop the shoulder and bring the arm out. No problem. You don't need to pose like me. That's what accentuates my body in my eyes. What's good for you might be a little bit different. So practice, pose, train hard.